welcome to the KVJ After the Show podcast.
Kevin's eyes look insane, but he's got new hair. Virginia is a witch, and she farts in her chair. Jason is a spaz who's got an old man's ass. Welcome to the After the Show podcast.
Okay, hello and welcome to the KVJ After the Show podcast. Happy Friday, everybody.
Happy Employee Appreciation Day, Kevin.
Oh, is that what it is?
It is.
Oh, okay.
I had no idea.
Cool, Virginia just loaded up on eggs. Sweet.
Our boss is back in the kitchen whipping up scrambled eggs with bagels and cream cheese, and there was like 12 dozen eggs back there.
That's a cool concept.
I know, considering
doing that,
how
yeah.
expensive eggs are.
We're hearing rumors that there's limits of places of how many eggs you can get. Well, if you go to a certain place, they're going to, no, you can only get 3 cartons. If not, you're going to get out of here, dickface.
That's real. Most places are saying limit 2.
Is that really is the thing?
I've
huh?
seen it at multiple different grocery stores.
Remember during COVID, there was all those rules. You can only get 2 Chips Ahoy.
Yeah.
But all you have to do then at that point is just go to a couple different stores. You'll be fine.
Yeah, I don't really buy eggs, so I've not been on the front lines and seen that. But
I know.
our old intern who lives in Belgium, he was texting me about it yesterday. So apparently it's international news. So he's like, "What's going on with the egg prices over there?"
Well, in this building, everyone's talking eggs, Kevin.
Yeah. No, it's,
Everyone's very happy because they just got a free egg breakfast.
Oh, okay.
And what normally would cost about $3, now if you go out and try to buy it, it's like 20.
Cassie had sent an email, and she just wanted to make sure that we got everything straight in our chicken talk, because we had talked about people that are renting or buying their own coops now to try to get their own eggs to save some money. And she said, the breakdown: roosters are the male chickens, hens are the female chickens, roosters make the cock-a-doodle-doo, and depending upon the type of chicken will determine whether you get an egg a day or not. No, it is not cheaper having chickens, but you know what you're feeding them and what their living conditions are like. Plus, there's nothing better than the taste of a fresh egg.
A fresh egg does taste fantastic. It really does. My girlfriend's mom used to have a little farm out in Loxahatchee, and she would give us fresh eggs. And we did a side-by-side taste test comparison.
Kind of sound like you're an egg bragger right now.
Yeah, she kind of is.
Well, I'm just saying, if you get a chance to buy fresh eggs, do it.
Okay. There you go. Your piece of advice for the weekend.
She used to put a sign out by the street, and it just said, fresh eggs for sale. And people would drive by and, get a carton of eggs from her.
Yeah, I think more and more people are doing that now. It's kind of interesting. The question is who do you trust to buy your eggs from?
And then what happens when the chicken prices go up?
Cost of the chicken?
Well, that chicken becomes
Yeah, I don't know why
endangered.
chicken. Well, I don't know why. I mean, if it's a bird flu thing, and I think that was the thing, right? They killed millions of chickens.
Yeah.
It's kind of what led to 23 million or whatever the number was, and yeah, you would think that just buying a regular chicken would still be expensive too. So why would that be any better than buying an egg?
How scared are you of bird flu?
It's about a 0 on a scale of 1 to 10.
0. I'm at a 0 too with bird flu. Doesn't even cross my mind.
No.
What about you, Virginia?
My girlfriend went to Puerto Rico and got bird flu from a bird. It was kind of her own fault. So she was out back smoking weed, and she would take the roaches and put them down on the ground so her mom wouldn't find them, and then she would come back the next day and get the roaches and smoke the roaches that were just on the ground. Bird pooped on one of the roaches.
Shit.
That's how she got the bird flu.
That is not
She
the
didn't recognize that? You couldn't tell, when you took a hit, it tasted like chicken shit?
Well, she never tasted chicken shit before, so
Well, I
she
mean,
didn't know.
still, I think I haven't either, but I would still think, I'd be like, that's not how I remembered that tasting yesterday.
She got the bird flu, and it effed her up.
That would harsh my buzz, man.
Do you think the bird was aware? It was like, oh, and watch this, dude.
Yeah, she keeps on littering on her home, throwing all this shit on the ground. Watch this.
Watch this.
What a diabolical bird, that mother clucker.
Yeah. Gotta watch them damn
Look,
chickens.
I always said if the birds got so next level intelligent and then
Rallied.
uniformed and said fuck the humans, let's all go for them.
Yeah.
I think we are screwed as a species. If the birds
You're
wanted,
right.
if they really wanted to come for us,
Yep.
I
It's
think
over.
I think we're screwed.
Luckily, they don't know how to assemble.
That's the animal that scares me the
Porn
most.
organization.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If they all got together, that would be the one that would scare me the most.
Yeah, some of them chickens can be a real cock. Got an email here from Ashley. Apparently, she enjoyed the episode yesterday entitled Honeyface.
Oh, Honeyface. We all liked Honeyface.
She said, so now that Jbird has come out and admitted he has a girlfriend and even given us the pet name and what he has her listed as in his phone, I would love to hear the backstory. How did they meet? How long have they been dating? And did she listen to the show before meeting him? We want the deets. Are you ready to address the questions in the deets, Bird?
Oh, the details. Not quite yet.
Okay.
What are you holding out for over there? You cock tease?
Okay.
'Cause,
All good questions. Hopefully one day we'll get some answers here.
Tyler Cameron gave us all the scoop.
well, fuck. I gotta do it then. Shit. Well, Tyler Cameron does it.
You have the same basic love story in life.
Same love story, same body,
Yep.
same fucking pics.
Yep. Both
Secret-
went to FAU, by the way.
Oh, that's right.
I mean, the similarities are just staggering.
Yeah, I get it. People want details. We're going slow here.
Why?
Because not everyone likes to burn everything up and have it blow up. In
So
your face.
exposed that, yeah.
Yeah.
You're just a breadcrumber.
Well, I mean that's.
He's a tease.
I'm
He
fine.
is.
I'm fine being a tease, a breadcrumber, a cock tease, a breadcrumber.
A breadcumber.
Well, we'll get a little bit here and there. Yesterday, we got the pet name that he has her listed as in his phone, Honeyface. So that's, one detail at a time, I think.
We got the pet name. We didn't get the real name.
No.
No, I don't think you did.
Nope.
Well, that wasn't very smart of us. How are we going to do an investigating with a pet name? We need the real name.
Look, people do get mad that I'm not giving enough details, and then other people go, "Don't give out too many details. You're gonna ruin it."
Do not listen to those people.
Which ones? Because everyone's telling me something different.
Give details. We want it all.
No, see, that's there.
Please.
There's my answer right there.
You're right.
Give details. We want them all. She's got the fucking just.
I'm salivating, and I got egg pieces on me.
I thought you were wearing a. Yeah, all of a sudden you turn into you have a black dress on, not a brown dress on. You're full on a witch.
Tell us all the details, low-budget Tyler Cameron.
I'm not telling all the details, but I do appreciate the email, and that is very very lovely.
Brian said, since Jbird has a girlfriend now, has he cut down or stopped walking around inside and outside of his house in the buff? If so, is he having being naked withdrawals?
No, we are comfortable. I can be naked around and walk around naked in front of her.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, she liked that shit.
Oh, see, this is why I don't want to give any details. Already, the fucking raging Cajun. Oh,
She
yeah.
just runs to the bedroom, lays down, spreads those legs, and says, "Take me now."
One email.
Yep.
She's like, yeah,
Yeah.
she liked that shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's been here 2 days. I'm stuttering. I'm stammering.
You're all wet, right?
Can't. Yeah, I'm gonna listen to my gut on this one. That's who I'm listening to. I'm not listening to you. I'm not listening to the chat room. I'm listening to my gut.
Okay.
All right, well, I'll be over here waiting, just like everybody else is being breadcrumbed by this bit.
And I'll be over here
Just living your
stuttering and
life.
stammering.
You'll be over there living like a box of secrets.
Okay.
Whatever.
Well, our porn watcher sent an email back. Remember, we were talking about the situation where the guy was watching the porn and came down to the thing that jumped out to me was the fact that he was talking about, hey, it doesn't affect my life. I'm not addicted to it. I just have the screens on all day when I'm working because work sucks. Titties are awesome. I remember that quote. And
Well, nobody denies that.
Wait, were you here for that email?
No, I missed
She
that.
missed it. But the one thing that did kind of jump out at me was the concern was he talked about when, he still wanted to be with his wife, but when he was, it sounded like he was like, he was like a Minuteman. He was like coming quick. And I'm like, okay, if you've trained yourself by tossing it to porn all the time, I feel like that's a disservice. But he wanted to follow up on his previous email and dive deeper into the conversation.
You missed a doozy of an email, Virginia. It almost sounded like he had to stop to jerk his pud and then continue.
Oh,
the
my.
email.
Yeah, I'm glad this isn't a mailed letter. I'm not sure I would be touching it.
I mean, honestly, there was one point I go, is he stopping to jerk his pud?
He said, I feel like the perspective you both are sharing is similar to the old drug war talking points where trying pot today means you'll be a raging meth head selling your mom's TV in 6 months. That's just not how it works. I can watch these streams all day, 5 days a week, and it doesn't affect my attraction to my wife or our intimacy. Like I mentioned before, I love titties. My wife just happens to have smaller boobs, but that doesn't change the fact that I still enjoy being with her physically, even after watching streams all day.
Dude, no one's saying that maybe you can handle it and maybe your wife is fine with it. But for a lot of people, they can't handle it. Just because you're built that way doesn't mean other motherfuckers are going to be able to do that. And a lot of people couldn't do that.
Mm-hmm.
You imagine half the people in your personal life, all they're doing is watching titties all day long.
Yeah.
All day long.
Mm-hmm.
That's all they're doing. You don't think that's going to change them a little bit?
Some men can handle titties all day. Some men can't.
Exactly. That's exactly
Maybe
it.
your constitution, sir, is just one of invincibility, and you're just such a strong guy. But most guys would be having to go tug it if they looked at titties all day.
If anything, the only impact is that if I don't, he calls it practice beforehand, I might be too quick when we do get intimate. I get excited, I enjoy it too much, and that's not fun for either of us.
Awfully defensive for not being a pre-comer.
And since Kevin mentioned wanting to hear from my wife directly, I asked her how she feels about all of it, and her response, it doesn't matter. I have no negative or positive feelings towards it. It doesn't impact me. Like I said in my first email, communication is key. She knew about this from the beginning. I like girls. I like looking at cute girls, and I enjoy streaming them at home, but it's not like I'm rubbing one out every hour either. There are weeks where I don't even have the time. I'd love to continue the conversation openly. Let me know your thoughts.
I don't know. Put that thing away. No. Yeah, man, watch your titties. We ain't saying you can't watch your titties. Mm-hmm. It sounds like, from your perspective, when you say something like, my wife doesn't care this way or that way, that makes me think she could possibly care and she's not saying anything. Is that possible?
She just may not want to take on the fight. It didn't sound like, at least in the way she said it, and here I am, he's getting it, writing it down, but it didn't sound like it's a ringing endorsement, but it's like, it's not something I'm going to make a big fight about.
Look, if that's how you and your wife want to get down, you all get down that way. All my point was saying was overexposure to pornography can change the chemistry of a lot of people out there.
Yeah.
Maybe it won't be him,
yeah,
but it can change the chemistry of people. I've seen it happen. So, I'm not lying with my perspective. Go ahead and see the majority of people watching titties and clitties all day long and see if their personality does not change a little bit.
Is that website taken?
Titties and clitties?
Yeah.
I think that one is, but clitties and titties is not.
Kevin, scoop it up.
Yeah, that's just what I need.
Scoop it up.
Put that under the KVJ umbrella.
Also, too, his email made me laugh, and I was just kind of busting some jokes because I think one of the lines was, I just really love tits. And it made me laugh, so I had jokes.
I think the thing for me that I now pay attention to, now I'm aware of it, is the concept of triggering the pleasure centers of the brain and what it's doing to your mind. Because I think you can rewire it. I think that's what they're finding more and more and more. And so I'm trying to be aware of that even in my own life. To say, okay, you have now the opportunity to completely keep hitting that trigger of pleasure. But I'm not so sure that it's a good thing. And I'm kind of concerned about it. So I'm trying to be a little bit aware of myself. Now, for me, it's not porn, but, social media and things like that, saying, okay, because I definitely feel like my mental health in my mind is different than where it was 10 or 15 years ago. I have a lot more anxiety and I'm a lot more clanked than I used to be. And I don't know if it's age or if it's this damn social media that I'm on or what's going on.
Everybody everybody handles every situation differently. And I could see you, Kevin Ralston, if you got into porn, porn addiction, and you started to lose yourself in that, you as a person would become depressed, in my opinion. I don't think it would be good for you. Now, the guy that wrote the email, he might be a different breed, but I know how you are. And this isn't a knock on porn, by the way. I'm no fuddy-duddy. I like titties too. I'm just saying, anything that does that to the brain, like you're talking, the dopamine hits, it's going to change your chemistry. I'm sorry, it can lead to ED. These are real things.
Erectile dysfunction.
If you're jerking off a lot, watching a lot of porn, these are things that you may not be able to bring the thunder in the bedroom like you used to. I mean, look it up. There's science behind it. I don't know what to tell people.
Yeah, in fact, I just saw a study. Researchers found that brief moments of Instagram engagement triggers a reward-based rush, and closing the app triggers a stress response. When participants were forced to stop using the app, their heart rates increased and they reported increases in stress and anxiety. Durham University did that study. And so that's just another one showing you that these kind of things that I think we've assumed are benign may not be so benign.
I don't think they're benign at all.
I did. And
I did too.
I'm now starting to have a realization. That's where I'm saying that I've changed.
They tricked us.
Yeah, I've changed my perspective. I'm trying to be aware and understand, because I think I personally have fucked up my mind a lot.
Well, we didn't realize what tools of manipulation these things were developed to be.
Yeah.
In the beginning, we were like, oh, this is so cool. Facebook, I can keep up with my friends and see what they're doing and blah, 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 blah. Like, they hooked us on this.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of people who can watch porn, get all freaky, and they can go on with their life and it doesn't affect them. I think that's majority of people. But there are people out there with addictive personalities. The guy that we see at McDonald's watching porn, that you have a problem at that point. If you're watching porn in the drive-thru at a fast food restaurant, you have a problem. And if you're saying you don't, you're in fucking denial.
Yeah.
You don't understand what's going on if you're watching porn in the drive-thru of McDonald's.
And I'm not calling you a bad person, and I'm not saying. I'm just saying.
But you are just kind of unaware.
Well,
you're socially unaware.
Just you can't act like pornography does not change people, because it can if you watch too much of it.
I think we all need to have an awareness that the things we're doing in our life today, you may be rewiring your brain and not realizing it.
Right. Yeah. That's it. And it's set up that way by these companies that run these social media sites. They know how to manipulate your brain, and you don't even realize it's happening at first.
And the beautiful thing, I also believe you can rewire your brain back. I really do. I think
turning that shit off.
Absolutely.
Put your phone down. Walk away from it, go outside, take a walk.
And again, we all agree. We all like titties.
Yep. Kara sent an email, said, regarding giving younger kids the sex talk, my daughter's 10 years old and in 5th grade in Palm Beach County School District. Her school sent home a permission slip to attend a sex education class, which I signed. She came home from school that day and said, whoa, today was a lot. I remember going through the same thing when I was in 5th grade, but honestly, the kids talk to each other. They say if you don't tell them, their friends will. She already knew some major plot points around 4th grade just from her friends at school, which when she told me this, I used it as a jumping off point to fill in the blanks. Her little sister, who's 8, also learned during this time. I think kids with an older sibling do tend to learn a bit earlier. Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, that's true.
Definitely.
Baby Jbird knew all about titties.
Well, my brother was a good 9 years older than me, and we lived next door to swingers. So, yeah, and they weren't very good about keeping their backyard closed. So, yeah, you knew a lot pretty quick.
So even little Jbird said titties are awesome.
Oh, my gosh. So totally awesome.
Yeah.
Like, even then, you knew too much was too much.
And James said, I heard you talking a while back about your son going to the bathroom and you getting an email from the school about it. I work for the school district and I do maintenance. Not all the schools do that, but there are 2 reasons for it. The bathrooms basically have a teacher or administrator sitting in front and they scan a student's ID when they use the restroom. and it notifies the parents so they're aware in case a student is abusing the bathroom privileges just to get out of class all day. And for when a parent demands why their kid is failing, they can show the record that the kid is always missing class to go to the bathroom. The second reason is for vandalism. These kids will do graffiti or even worse, damage the fixtures, knocking sinks off the wall, breaking the toilets, etc.
Oh, my.
Since it's against the law to have cameras in the bathroom, this gives the school a timestamp to say the bathroom was fine when you went in and now there's damage, and they can pinpoint who's responsible and take disciplinary actions and even possibly make the parents pay for the cost of damages.
Okay, that makes sense now.
Okay.
People have been asking, has Canon's app been reinstated? Is gambling app privileges?
I got an email. Well, what started all off, and if you missed the story the other night, my son Cannon was supposed to meet my wife at a certain place in Boynton. She waited there. He didn't show up. She's like, I'm going to go home. He's like, no, I'll be right there. Eventually, it's 2.5 hours later. She's like, screw this. I'm going home. You find your own way home. And she had given him an amount of money to get an Uber so that he could get home. He spent that on a bet and didn't have the money. And my wife's like, screw it. You find your own way home. So he, of course, went to his sister, got the money. She got him the Uber home. But my wife was so fed up with how he was choosing to spend that money that she came in, deleted the Hard Rock betting app off my phone, is like closed out the account.
Was he? And he was late too. Was he late?
Yeah,
Oh, no,
that's, yeah, 2.5 hours.
Wow, that's a big one. Virginia.
Yeah, 2.5 is a lot.
Yeah, and so then the next day I get a text from Canon saying, yeah, it says that the thing is closed out. Can you get me the code or get it signed back up? I said, your mom closed it. It's between you two. And then a couple hours later, I get an email from Hard Rock saying, hey, you want to reopen the account. Here's what you need to do. Then I got 2 texts about reopening the account. I said to Kim, I'm like, are you trying to reopen the account? She's like, nope. I'm like, all right, just so you know, Canon is. So he's trying to make that happen. So I'm not getting involved. I'm not reopening it. It's up to my wife if it happens or not.
Because we actually have a betting pool on when he gets his betting app back.
It's just very layered and Betty.
Yes, I said Saturday by Saturday. That's when I put all my money on it.
Yeah. Now, I also just got an email from his school. It's like I said, I get a ton of emails from his school. And I guess it's good to know because I saw what his grades are and they are not good.
Uh-oh.
And I sent them to my wife, and I just showed her the grades, and I just said, not ideal.
So when you say not good, are they at a point where it's going to take a shit ton to get them up, or he can get them up if he...
No, it's mainly C's across the board, but he's got a D and an F in there.
I bet is one of them in math?
Yeah, I think the F's in math.
If they were doing stats and gambling and math, and brother'd have an A.
Yeah, I know, right. So
the odds.
If they were making odds.
Yeah, so we'll have to see what happens with that. Again, I'm putting that on my wife, and I am not a fan of reopening the app. I think it stays dead, but well, Caitlin says he definitely already has it. I don't know that that's true.
The Caitlin Ralston is in the chat room. She said it's a free for all for Cannon, and then she comes back with he didn't have to run like we did.
Yeah, Caitlin, I think feels like her brothers may have gotten it easier than her, and I don't know. I'll let her speak for herself. I think that's how she feels.
Well, if she had to run and her little brother doesn't have to run and he didn't get punished like she did, she's right.
But her brother the same age did.
Okay, so but
his
so
twins,
Colin,
and I think
Colin and Caitlin would have to run for punishment.
I think they got it tougher. Yeah, my wife was a lot more strict with the twins who were 10 years older than Cannon. So
because
I
she
think that's
was
legit.
younger herself and she had that fire still in her. Now she's tired. I get it.
That's probably why Caitlin says Cannon has it easy, because she had to fucking run.
Mm-hmm. And there might be something to it. And look, I think the dynamics are interesting. Cannon is he's kind of like a mama's boy, and I think that Kim loves all of her kids, no doubt. But I think that sometimes the dynamics are interesting and different. That it could be that sometimes, like, I'm very close with Caitlin.
He knows how to stroke that mama.
Yeah.
It sounds like Cannon has figured out his mother.
Yeah, I think that the boys are very close with Kim, and I'm very close with Caitlin. And so I think that might be natural. She might have some feelings that maybe sometimes she feels like they get preferential treatment. Cannon definitely, I think, is babied a lot more than the older twins.
Because he's the baby. I mean, that's what happens with the baby. Mama's tired.
When you got when you have more than 3 kids, and the one kid always gets just a little bit more shine. The parents like them just a little bit more.
I never had.
I was that kid.
I never had siblings, but just hearing the conversations, I see how much the kids really and the siblings identify who's treated how, and they keep a running score in their head about what's going on. Now, you guys have brothers and sisters, so you can speak to that. Do you feel like that's true, that you keep a running scoreboard in your head about how your parents treat you and your siblings?
Do you think my Italian siblings keep a running score and have grudges and bring things up from November 3rd, 1983?
Okay, yeah.
Not at all. No, I don't care about shit that I did back in 94. Yes, I would agree with that.
Okay. Yeah, so as I have more than one kid, I'm starting to realize that I think they all kind of keep a running score as to who's treated how, and you're right, they will remember 10, 15, 20 years back.
And it's got to be tough for you because you're a man of fairness.
I try to be.
And you want all the kids treated the same, and you want all the kids kind of treated with the level of discipline that, is not too bendable.
I've got a relative that can, seriously, tell you the time they were slighted, the month, the year, what movie was playing on in the background.
Yeah.
I don't think you would have made Caitlin run as much, and I also don't think that you would let Cannon gamble as much. But here we are.
Yeah, that's it. Because, look, I understand that a lot of times when I do parenting stuff, it gets railroaded. So I have to run it through the queen. I'm like, all right, here's my thoughts on it. And ultimately, you're going to make that decision.
And sometimes do you feel like just because you've been in the games for so long, you'll say your piece, you know how it's going to go. If it's not going to go your way, you don't want to waste your energy and your spirit.
I'm too old to fight all these. I don't have enough energy. I just, you know what? I speak my piece. I throw it out there. I'm like, here's my thoughts. I'm going to let you know so there's no questions about it. And then you do what you can do.
You kind of sound like my dad right when he was about your age.
But it's wisdom. It really is. Because, when you're younger, you've got that extra energy and then you just burn it all in these stupid fights. And, what did that get you? It got you nowhere. So I leave no question, and then, when it comes down to it, you can do the I told you so. Be like, I expressed this. I thought you were going down the wrong path.
There's times where you feel like you are definitely right on something.
Yes.
And you have to almost kind of eject your emotions and act like it didn't even.
I only lay it out here. I said, for the record, if you're keeping it, hopefully you'll listen to this and it'll imprint in your brain. Here's my thought on this. You're ultimately going to do what you feel is right, and there's nothing I can do about it, but here's where I stand.
Well.
And then I'll just sit back and try to live through whatever the results are.
That is a man who wants zero fucking extra heat in his
I don't
life.
have time or energy for it. I would burn myself out. I'm already burnt out. I don't have time or energy for this.
Do you do that thing my dad used to do? I'd ask my dad a question, and he would just stare out the window, and then he'd finally answer me about 17 minutes later.
I would, but I don't have 17 minutes to burn. I wish I could. Jacqueline, she was given some ideas. We were talking about March Madness, which is going to be coming up here pretty quick towards the middle and end of the month. We've done our fun little polls that we like to take a category and then narrow it all down to one. But yeah, we've had some odd topics on that. Some of the ones that have come back here is, she said, for the March Madness game, I think it'd be great to do the best moments of the KVJ show. Then at the end, you can post a YouTube video on your channel about it. Yeah, that's interesting. I just don't know if, the whole scope of everybody knows.
That's the problem.
What, we've done. And so you got to pick a topic where everybody's pretty familiar with everything that is available out there.
If we're going, when Super Pie fell on Virginia, and you never heard of that segment,
Right.
you're like, what the fuck are they talking about?
Well, and I always get emails every single day. A lot of our listeners further south in Fort Lauderdale, Miami, they didn't know the show until we were in Miami.
Yeah.
And so they've only been listening for, 10, 12 years now, something
That's
like that.
true, yeah.
So, yeah, they wouldn't know the first 15 years, they have no idea.
Yeah, there was someone new asking me the other day, why is Virginia called the witch? I go, oh, let me tell you.
Mm-hmm.
But even stuff like that, people want to know why my name is Bird. People that are new.
Yeah. Alex was talking about a game that he and his buddies kind of discovered. In fact, he said, I've been a loyal listener of the show from the days where you were in Miami, where I discovered your show. So another one of those emails. But they stumbled into the game. I remember we did this. Do you remember when we would take audio and we would take our voice and flip it and play it backwards? And
Yes.
then we would try to say it just how it sounded, and then we'd flip it back so it'd be the right way and see how close we got to it.
Yeah.
He and his buddies were playing that. He's like, it was hysterical. He said, he threw it out there as an idea. I'm like, yeah, it's been
Let's
a while
do
since
it.
we did that bit. But
Yeah.
for Alex and your friends, you guys stumbled into a bit we done. Because it's been, 10 years probably since we did that? Maybe longer?
Yeah.
Hey, we'll do it all. Let's do it all again. If it doesn't work out, again, it's free.
Yep. Got an email from Tiffany. She said, I live in Vero and recently came down to Lake Worth Beach for the street painting festival. And afterwards, I drove to West Palm Beach to go to the waterfront to take that walking path that Kevin said he and his wife walk on the weekends. And it was fantastic. Yeah, that's great. Glad you're there. In fact, I was on it taking a walk on that path last week, and somebody came up and they tapped me and startled me. They're going, I'm listening to you right now.
That happened to me one
I'm like,
time.
oh, that's so cool.
It was the coolest thing. I was
Yeah.
walking my dog Chewy at the time, and this guy was passing me on this trail, and it goes, Jbird? I go, yeah. He goes, dude, I'm listening to Weird and Whatever right now. This is fucking trippy, bro. This is
should be.
trippy. It was.
I
It was
started thinking
trippy.
about, like, imagine if I was listening to a podcast and you're like going, hey, my God, that's whoever.
That happened to a lady in my neighborhood. She was walking around with her baby in a stroller, and she almost dropped her phone.
I dorked out when it happened.
She was like, I'm listening right now to your podcast, and you're standing in front of me. And I was like, I get it. That is fucking weird.
I think I dorked out more than the guy, and then I think if my dog Chewy could have talked, he's like, dude, calm the fuck down, man.
It's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, you're such a dork.
It's not that heavy.
She said, we're slowly exploring more of the areas down that way that you guys always talk about. And every time we're down in South Florida, I have all kinds of fun activities and restaurants on deck thanks to you. Yeah, that's cool. We love that. And I encourage people throughout South Florida because I don't think too often we get outside of our own little bubble. And I try purposely to do that, but I'm very guilty of it as well. Like I said, it's been years since I've really bar hopped down in the Brickell area. I'm like, I need to go down there and do that, familiarize myself with that area again.
We should just do it one day. And
Yeah.
just, I know you guys like to plan things out, 11 months out of your calendar, but let's plan a month or a weekend where we know we'll just go down there. All of us will go down there for a
Yep.
few hours, have the people, it'll be an unsanctioned event.
It's a lot of fun.
I'd like to get down there. I want to try some pizza places down there.
Oh, yeah.
Totally.
Yeah, there's so many good places. And I'm excited because my son starts 7-on-7 again. And they do that at Cardinal Gibbons in Lauderdale. So we go to Lauderdale by the Sea. And that is a great area. In fact, remember we were talking about the outdoor bars? Sun Sentinel gave it to that Aruba Cafe as the number one beach bar. I don't know if it's, look, I think the ambiance is great, that area. I'm not sure if that's number one. I'm not sure if I agree with that.
Have you been?
Yeah, I've been to Aruba before.
Okay.
But have you been to Jamaica?
I've been,
Ooh, I
I've been to
wanna
the Jamaica
take it
Cafe.
Sorry.
God, what a shitty place where they played that Beach Boys song over and over again. Be terrible. She said, I want to check out Peanut Island for my birthday next month. Kevin, I think you said you paddleboarded over to it recently. Yeah, I did. And I hadn't been on Peanut Island for many years. The last time I was there was when we had checked it out. We had hoped to do a KVJ event. The old house that they had over there, which is pretty run down now. But I think they say they've got a sign up that they're going to rebuild all that and do construction, but everything on Peanut Island seems to be moving pretty slow. They did a lot of refab on it, about 10 years ago?
Yeah, I thought.
Then it's just kind of been in limbo since.
I kind of feel like the nut used to go off back
It
in the
did.
day.
I think it still does.
Does it?
Yeah, I think it still does go off. I think that they fixed up like all like the camping little areas and the
they did.
bathrooms and the trails. They made it beautiful.
Yeah.
But I don't know if they did anything to that party space side of it.
No, they have not, and the Kennedy bunker is under construction. They're doing stuff there. You used to be able to take tours of that. But yeah, if you want to go over there and camp, you can. They've got a little bit of a walking trail. It's okay. And they've got a little bit, if you are on a paddleboard or a kayak, they got, you can kind of go back through the mangroves and whatnot. So yeah, that's a good little place to go. I recommend it. It's a nice little area there. There is a little bit of traffic because you are at the Port of Palm Beach. It's not nearly as busy as Fort Lauderdale or Miami by any stretch of the means, but there's still bigger boats coming in through there.
So don't get any funny ideas about going off and 69ing, because that ain't gonna.
I wasn't thinking 69. I was thinking drowning, but yeah. I mean, if
you can drown in 69.
yeah,
You guys are from different schools of thought.
yeah. I usually am just trying to stay alive. He's out there to
Look, sometimes I
lick
can
some twats. Apparently,
Sometimes you barely stay alive during a 69.
yeah.
He'd like to drown in one.
Okay. She said, I believe Virginia's talked about going there as well. Do you have any advice about visiting Peanut Island? Is it easy to paddleboard over to it with kids 12 and 14 years old, or should we just take the shuttle boat? Yeah, it depends. Now, when I went, man, there was a wind. And we were trying to go around Peanut Island. And I don't know if you've ever paddleboarded or even kayaked, and you're paddling and you're not moving.
Yes.
It's kind of a scary ass feeling because you were like, I am going to burn my ass out. Like,
That's a good point.
I don't know how much longer I can do this. And we hit that trying to go around, I guess, heading east around the island.
You got to check the wind and get a day
Yeah.
when it's very calm.
Anything over 15 miles an hour, don't even try going out and doing boating.
Well, at that point, you just feel like an appetizer for something. It's
Yeah.
gonna eat your ass.
Right. The wind was a little too strong the day that we went. But it's not bad, and you can go to the Riviera Beach Marina, and it's easy. You can drop in right there and kind of go out and around. So, yeah, it's not bad. I think a 12 or 14-year-old could handle it. But, again, there's some places, too, where you get a little bit of high traffic. Like, for instance, I love dropping in at Guanabanas in Jupiter up there. They've got a nice little deck right around the back, and it's peaceful. But, again, you kind of go right out into the inlet. And there's a lot of boat traffic even around that going around.
But if you stay in that circle where Guanabanas is, that's a full circle you can paddleboard.
It is. It's a great trek to do.
It's very peaceful in that circle. That might be a good place to start an adventure and get your footing before you try to go tackle the Palm Beach Inlet and Peanut Island.
And if you ever need a place just to kind of paddleboard, Kevin, you don't feel like going down there, you can totally use my canal by my house.
So I'm trying to stay out of canals.
you,
Thanks, though.
you want to stay out
Appreciate it. Yeah, I try to stay out of canals. I've dropped in on the West Palm Beach waterfront, and that's not bad and kind of cozy. But I will tell you a weird thing. The South Bridge, if you get a little bit south, there is a crazy current. And same thing. I was paddling my ass off, trying to get up through that. So there's a little bit of a strong current right in there. And then my daughter said she drops in, she's right across from Old Key Limehouse in Lantana. And that sounds like that's cool, but that looks like it might be a bit of a high traffic area as well.
If that was really your lifestyle and you were always paddleboarding and that's what you just yearned to do in life, you've got to be so ripped and in the best shape ever.
Yeah, well, I know a dude that's my age. One of my daughter's friends, we grew up in the softball thing together, and that's what he does. He's shredded. He's like my age. I'm like, and he just paddleboards all the time.
Them water sports, man.
I
Even
know.
just swimming.
Yeah.
But if you're inexperienced and you're young,
Yes.
don't try it on those rough, treacherous areas for the first few times. Go on the back side of Jupiter. Go back by the back Jupiter sandbar. Go into an area where you're not going to be in a lot of heavy boat traffic, heavy canoe or kayak traffic. You want to go someplace where it's peaceful to learn.
Don't head to the BT.
No.
Bermuda Triangle.
It's like butt taint.
Butt date? No.
Yeah, don't head there.
Don't head there. Well, I don't know. Whatever you're into.
A lot of wind coming out of that BT.
You ain't going nowhere.
Yeah. Yeah, and if anybody wants to do what is my little walk path thing, it's the South Bridge. Take a right there where they put in the new nice little marina, and you come right out of that, and it kicks you pretty much right to Worth Avenue. You walk up through Worth Avenue, up there to the bell tower, take a left, and then you walk right back down to the South Bridge and then go back over. And it takes about an hour to 90 minutes. I think it's about 3 miles.
Now known as a Ralston's Route.
Ralston's Route, yeah.
Ralston's Route. Today on, it is known as Ralston's Route.
It's solid. You see ocean, you see intercoastal, beauty, Worth Avenues. Worth Avenue is such a chill little street. And for the first time, I kind of started going back into some of those little alcoves that they have.
Oh, they're cool.
Yes.
The little fountains, and then you see all the tile work and the architecture.
Yeah, and when you're over there, you almost feel like people may not know that I'm as poor as I am.
See, they would know if I was. What's this Bigfoot
I know they know because
douche?
you can see.
What's this Bigfoot fuck doing?
You look fancy at times. You
I
do.
do, but I don't because I was looking around. I'm like, I was fooling myself, thinking, you know what? Somebody probably thinks I live here, and I was at my own little thing. And then I looked at somebody that clearly lived there. I'm like, I look nothing like that. You ever seen people look like money?
Yes.
I don't know how to put it.
Yes.
Just,
Probably everybody else on that street but you.
they do. They just have a look to them, from their skin to hair to their clothes, the way they're pressed, tucked in, all that kind of. You're like, God, they're rich.
When I worked at the fancy golf club, you are so right. There's especially on the older dudes that have their hair still. They have that old, rich, coiffed hair that just looks like, oh, this
money. They just
ass
look
has got
like
so
money.
much money.
Yeah. So it's kind of fun over there. And I wonder when they're looking at me, being like, oh, God, this is a guy clearly from the other side of the bridge.
Is this guy going to park my car or not?
Exactly. You're feeling your outfit all of a sudden. Sir, can you please park my Bentley?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And then the answer is yes, I can.
Mr. J said, looking like you have money doesn't always mean they're loaded. I will tell you the one thing I can tell you, and I feel like I've developed a skill over the last 26 years, and I know what you're talking about. I've seen people that put on the brands and all that, but they're
Flashy new money.
Yes, but you can tell that. And I've seen people that have the brands, I'm like going, they're poor as shit, and they are overextended or they're wearing knockoffs. Because there is an essence and an air to you that goes along with it as well, that I think being coiffed and pampered kind of comes with it. You have a relaxation and a confidence that you walk with. And I can almost see it in people's eyes.
Spa face.
Yes.
You look like you just left from getting a full body workup and rub down.
Yeah, and even people that may not have all the designer stuff on, you can look at them and still, they could be dressed like a slob. You're going, they look slobby, but they're rich as fuck, and you can still see it.
I like the salty unicorn, the person that looks like they could be homeless, but they actually have a shit ton of money.
Yeah.
I like that kind of person. You go, that guy's a millionaire,
Yeah.
and you would never know it.
Absolutely, yeah. You'll even see that too.
I like that.
There are many different kinds of categories in South Florida. You have the clear poser that's just trying to look it. You have the person that is rich that's wearing the brands, and you have the rich person that dresses like a slob, but they still look like money.
And you'll see them all walking that walk, the Ralston Trail.
I know, that's what's great about it. It's like all economic levels come together in one place.
You're already fucking up the branding. The Ralston Route.
Oh, sorry, the Ralston Route.
That's it,
I thought
baby.
Ralston Trail.
No, double
it.
R.
Okay.
Alliteration.
I'll hopefully see somebody on the Ralston route this weekend. That's the plan, to get out there and drink in this weather and enjoy it.
Game needs to recognize game, too. If you're poor on the Ralston Route,
Yep.
give Kev a little nod and a wink.
In fact, let's send all of our people on that Ralston Route.
Yeah, I'll see you on it. You can tip your cap to me and be like, hey, dude, I'm broke too.
Hey, trying to fake it and fit in? Yeah.
That's right. And everybody on Palm Beach is going to hate us so much. I'm sending everybody to their island.
That's why we changed the Ralston Route forever.
Don't worry, they're not listening.
No, but they will once we change that Ralston Route.
All right, y'all. Have a fantastic weekend. We'll see you back here on Monday. Goodbye.